Hi everyone, it's Janelle from AnnounceMyMove. This is the recorded version of our AnnounceMyMove's Create from Scratch program for the Coldwell Banker Vanguard Realty folks. We're in a webinar right now which is being recorded so that agents who subsequently are coming in to learn about AnnounceMyMove's program and that Create from Scratch program have the opportunity to watch it via video. I do hold classes every week. You're welcome to hop on with me every Wednesday. I believe it's at 10 o'clock Pacific, which is 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock Eastern. It may change from week to week, but generally in the early afternoon in Eastern Standard Time, you can hop onto a live webinar with me. Or you can just watch this recorded version as I walk through how to create an announcement from scratch, okay? Now, as a little refresher, the past two classes we've already done have been how to get logged into your account and edit your personal information for the agent banner. And we talked about the Announce My News program, which are announcements created by your corporate marketing team. They give you the ability to simply click and go, and it's custom branded with your information on it as if you've already created it yourself. We also did an orientation on Announce My Listing, how to take your listing data that's already auto-generated in an agent and a seller version and forward that out through your social network and through email. Today we're talking about the Create from Scratch program. So just as a quick little reminder of how to get logged into your account, you go into AnnounceMyMove.com/CBV. That's absolutely critical that you do this component to it for us to get you logged into the right spot. So if you see her up at the top, Coldwell Banker Vanguard is the extension. It's AnnounceMyMove.com/CBV. You know you're in the right spot because you see the logo, okay? When you click on member login here, now we've converted this over to our sub server where we've got all of your information being pulled over from your website. And so you're going to pop in your Coldwell Banker Vanguard email address. And then you've been given a special password from Brenda. And so I happen to know Kim's. We're going to go ahead and get in there and get into her account. Just real quickly, I do want to show you that here's that link to that social media training center where you can hop into various classes that I do each month on Facebook, both at basic and advanced, and I do some other special social media trainings as well. There's our Facebook business page where you can have conversations with us on Facebook, okay? And then I've got my upcoming training webinars link where you can hop on any of my live classes each week. So when we get logged into Kim's account, we're going to use her as our demo. We've already kind of oriented you on this page in terms of all these different links and the edit my information, your announce my listings located in this area. Today we're going to focus on this create button, okay? So I'm going to show you some really creative, fun ways to create marketing messages that don't necessarily have to do with the transaction. They may. You might be doing a moving announcement, which is very common, where you create an announcement for your buyer and seller when they're getting ready to move, and that they want to forward off to their friends and family, whether through email or sharing on their social media sites. I'm going to show you one that I created for Kim already as my demo. And then I'm actually going to show you a live announcement that I'm going to create from scratch on, oh, I don't know, what's coming up this Sunday, you guys? It's a time change, right? We've got a time change coming up. So I created a time change announcement. I did actually create it originally in your corporate program, but I'm not sure if Eddie or Brenda and them are going to use it or not. So if you are interested in creating a time change announcement for this Sunday, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, okay? We have a few more people who are just logging in. So I'm going to pause here for just a quick second and let them join us. We're going to have Leslie, I don't know if she pronounces it, Dower or Doer. Hey Leslie, I see you just joined us. We're just getting started. We're going to focus on this Create from Scratch button today. She says hi. And so we want to make sure we have lots of dialogue back and forth. Okay, guys? So now I'm going to go into my view announcements because I actually already have one that I did that was a moving example. I'm going to go ahead and edit this. It's as if I went into that Create button that you see up above. It's going to take me into a Create Announcement wizard. It's the same kind of wizard that you've seen with Announce My Listing. The only difference is everything is blank. You have to fill it out from scratch, okay? Our moving announcement is our original concept of Announce My Move, hence the name of the company, okay? And so as we go through, this will be obvious when we're creating a moving announcement. And then we're going to fill out this questionnaire a little bit differently when we do an announcement like our time change that I'm going to demonstrate for you. But let's do a moving example first, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is nickname your announcement. Now, I nicknamed it moving example. You might want to do 123 Main Street moving, or the Jones family moving. However you want to nickname it, it's an optional tool here so that you can find it when you're looking at your reports, okay? Go ahead and click on Save and Continue, Next, or in just a second you'll see a back button, and it will save your work as you go along, okay? Always be sure to click Save and Continue, Next, or Back, or even preview it, and then you won't lose anything that you've already created in case you have to step away from your computer and you get timed out, okay? Now, these are our most commonly used announcement types. Now, you're going to see here that we have a just listed and a for sale and an open house, and these various ones that you've identified in your Announce My Listing program. I'm going to ask that you use your Announce My Listing program for those kinds of banners because we're auto-generating the data over onto and populating onto the page. This program was originally designed for agents who did not have access to Announce My Listing, and they needed to create a just listed announcement from scratch, okay? Now, if you've got a pocket listing and you don't have it on the MLS yet and you want to create a just listed or a for sale, then this is the perfect place to do that from scratch. Now, in this scenario, I'm doing a We're Moving announcement. Now, I'm going to point out that custom banner, which can say up to 30 characters for anything you want it to say. We're going to do some brainstorming here towards the end when we can get some creative ideas going about the kinds of announcements you can do. Okay, so we're going to do a We're Moving announcement. And you have 5 different color templates to choose from. Pick which one you like best. There's a preview button up in this green upper bar here. So if you want to save it and preview it, then you can kind of take a look and see which ones you like the best. And you probably recognize this guy here. We're using him in our demo account. I cannot remember the life of me what his name is, but we're going to call him Rob Odishoo because he's our demo. Okay, now you're going to also notice that there's something called full and discrete. Full banner is going to show all of your images and all of your contact information. A discrete banner will remove all images and make your banner on the right-hand side very discrete. We've had agents ask us for that feature. Most of the time, you're probably going to want to use a full banner, so it has all of your information listed as you see most of our announcements do. Okay. So if you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to take it. But I'll be looking for questions on that right-hand side if there's anything that you have questions on at this point. Okay. So I selected this particular one. I'm going to go ahead and save it. This next section is a preview modify section. It's just a placeholder. Just skip on past it. It's an advanced feature that we're going to be rolling out soon, but just go ahead and skip on past it for now. The next section is your client's first and last name. Well, remember, we're doing a moving announcement, so it's James and Ann Jones who are moving, so we popped in their name here. Now, I used this optional title line and put in the Jones family, James, Ann, and Susie. That's optional. If you do use these optional title lines, we won't display James and Ann Jones's name here. We will display what you put in this section, okay? So let's pause here for a second and preview it so you know where this is filling in on your announcement. Now, if I was starting this announcement from scratch, these pictures would be blank and this text field would be blank, and all I would see is the color template I've chosen, your banner on the right-hand side, and the Jones family, James and Ann, okay? So every step of the way, preview your announcement so you can see how it's being created, okay? Now, the address is the address of where they're moving to. So go ahead and pop in their address. Now, if you leave this blank, let's just say, for example, we're doing an announcement about the time change. Okay, notice it's happening on Sunday. Well, there is no address. So if I leave this blank, then when I come up to preview it, you'll see that there will not be an add to address book or a view map link. These two links are a function of whether or not an address has been added into this particular field, okay? So if it's appropriate, pop in an address and a phone number. Now, the body of the announcement consists of both a client comment section and a member comment section. Let's talk about this now. The client comment section is simply, if I'm looking at the announcement, is simply the top portion of the text field, and the member comment section is the bottom section. And if you use both areas, there'll be a little tiny divided line between the two sections, okay? So let me give you an example. In this case, it's a moving announcement. This is where your client comments will go. My suggestion to you is that you always write something in this area to get your client started. I like to see something like this. Hi everyone, we're moving. Please update your address book with our new contact information, your friends, James and Ann. This text editor is very similar to the one you're used to with Announce My Listing. Okay, it looks slightly different. It's an older version. But you can, just like on the other one, bold, italicize, choose your font style and size, okay? And we have the field for your client to be able to edit this message or not. Now, in the case of a moving announcement, I just write a little something simple like this to get them started and then allow them to edit it and write their own personal message on the page, okay? Now, if you recall, for those of you who've been in my Announce My Listing orientation, you know that this text editor does more than format text. I'm not going to get into extensive training today about how to do some of our techie things, but I do want to point out that this little button right here that looks like a less than and greater than sign is our HTML, toggle HTML source. It converts everything into HTML. It's the same thing as the source button on Announce My Listing. So in case you want to take a video of your sellers talking to their friends and family about their move, all you have to do is convert that into HTML, put your cursor where you want that embed code, and paste that YouTube embed code. Now I know on this call I've lost a couple of you here, okay? So don't worry about it too much. Just know that I have a Beyond the Basics class that I'm doing tomorrow that will go into great detail about how to take this text editor and add more media-rich content like video, Google Maps, JPEG images, hyperlinks, etc. Okay? I'm not going to get into too much detail on that today. So this text editor, the reason why we separate client comments and member comments is because when you have different kinds of announcements, you might want to put a little personal message on here that then gets pushed over to Facebook when you share on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter. And then there's other portions where you might want to include an article that you found or some other kind of community event information. You might want to differentiate between those two sections on your announcement. I'm going to ask that you always use the client comment section. The reason why the client comment section is so important, whether you have a client that's moving or you're doing that time change announcement that I'm going to demonstrate for you in a moment, you're going to see I always use the client comment section because when we come over here and share, use the share buttons, it's the client comment section that's pulling onto the Facebook wall and newsfeed of your followers. Same thing for your buyer and seller, okay? I want to make sure that's real clear. Let me pause here and see what questions you have. Are there any questions regarding the client comment section versus the member comment section? This will be similar to like when you're doing that listing announcement, guys, and you've got your client letter or agent letter, and then you've got your property remarks. We put the property remarks below that divided line, which in this particular section we call member comments, okay? But it's just know that it's the body of the announcement. You can use either one or both areas. Always use the client comment section for what you want shared over onto Facebook. Now, in the case of a moving announcement, I'm going to suggest that you leave your member comment section blank. I oftentimes see agents use this section to say something like this. Oh, that, you know, it was such a pleasure working with the Jones family, and, you know, we love referrals at Coldwell Banker, Vanguard Realty, and they kind of, we see agents sort of make this announcement more about them. And when you're doing a moving announcement for your buyers and sellers, this is not about you. This is truly a closing gift for them to share with their friends and family, okay? My suggestion is that you leave those member comment sections blank. Just put a little something in here for your buyer or seller to get them started, and then they can write their own personal message in that homeowner interface, which quite frankly is identical to it's the exact same homeowner interface as we have for Announce My Listing, which we've already trained you guys on, okay? So they can write their own personal message there. Now the picture section, let's say you have a seller or a buyer who's moving out of the area. okay? So you can choose to use one of our stock photos and then allow them to upload a personal picture. If you use one of our stock photos, you just pick from a variety of different ones that we have here, and then you can allow your client to change the photo if they don't like it, okay? Let's assume you do have pictures of where your client's moving to, in which case you'll upload pictures and captions yourself. And then also, you'll notice that you can upload up to 10 pictures, which is different than Announce My Listing, right? Because with Announce My Listing, we're pulling all of your photos, and that could be up to 30 pictures from your MLS. But with AnnounceMyMove's Create from Scratch program, we've limited right now to 10. That may change in the future, but today you've got 10 photos. You can allow your client to upload a personal picture in which you would be starting with picture number what? Number 2, because the first one's reserved for them. Now, if your client doesn't upload a family photo, then the first image that will appear will be the one that you have entered, okay? Now, if you want them to upload a personal picture, go ahead and say so here. And then in which case, you'll be able to browse and upload the pictures that you have on your computer for this house where they're moving to. Now, one of the things I'll point out with our picture upload program is it's always best, I think, to upload a JPEG image versus some other format. They do appear more crisp, they upload more easily, and you want to make sure that your photos are sized properly for internet use. If you try to upload a photo that's a poster size, high resolution picture, you're going to need to resize that and make it a little smaller, under 200 kilobytes for it to be able to upload properly. When it's a proper size, when it's not too big, it will upload in a nanosecond, and then you can add a caption next to each picture if you'd like. You can also add in an optional link address and how you want that text to appear. So if this is the URL of something you want displayed underneath in that caption section, this might say, click here. And then we will link that text to wherever you'd like it to go, okay? When you click Save and Continue, you'll see all of your pictures that you've uploaded, and now you can have the ability to toggle and put them into whatever order you'd like, okay? So I uploaded, 8 different pictures, 7 different pictures here, and reserved that first one for the client image. A lot of people forget this function, but there's actually ability to now control a slideshow and have those pictures move. And usually most people put them between 5 seconds and 10 seconds, depending on how many words you have on captions, but usually 5 seconds is pretty good. And then we have a virtual tour link. So if this property, if it's a moving announcement, and you have a virtual tour and you want to add that here, go ahead and pop in that virtual tour link, and then you will see that on the announcement, there will now be an icon that says View Virtual Tour, okay? If you don't have a virtual tour, simply leave that blank, and these 2 images will scoot together, okay? Now let me pause here for 1 second and take some questions. I want to know if I'm going at a good pace for you, and see if you have any questions up to this point. Give me some feedback. Type me some messages here. The next thing we're going to talk about is then how to get this over to your seller for them to preview it and share it with their friends. We've got Jerry, Leslie, Stacy, Susan. What questions do you guys have? Am I going at a good pace for you? Are you ready for me to move on? Okay, so Stacy's giving me some feedback. She said good pace. Okay, well, if there are any questions, just stop me, and I will be happy to answer those, okay? I'm going to get into a more custom announcement, more creative announcement here in just a second. Let's finish up this moving announcement. Now, the first thing you're going to see is, okay, we can preview it. We know what it looks like. We've been doing that kind of all along, all right? Now, you can, and oh, by the way, let's go back for a second. When you're going to send this via, let's say you have an announcement that you're going to share on social media sites, you simply preview that announcement, and as soon as you've got that announcement on the page, you use your share buttons, and it will log you into your account and post your announcement there, okay? If you're going to send it out through email, the first thing we're going to ask you is who's emailing out this announcement? We got to think back. Now, we're doing a moving announcement. It's only going to be sent out by my client. If I'm doing a time change notice, which I'm going to demonstrate for you here in a second, you're going to see that I'm going to say only me. And there may be scenarios where you create an announcement where it's both your client and you's going to be sending it out, so you'd select both of us. In this case, with a moving announcement, you're just going to pop in your client's email address here. And do you want their email address to appear on the announcement? Yes or no? That's up to you. There's 2 spots for a husband and wife, personal and business email address. And then we give your clients a little preview email, okay, letting them know that you've created this announcement for them, that they can go into our homeowner interface and upload their own family photo if you've allowed them to do so. They can write their own personal message again, if you allow them to do so, before they send it out to their contacts, okay? Now, this send function is a little different than Announce My Listing. In this one, we have this preview letter right here for you. You can modify it right here on our page. The subject line is your announcement is ready for you to preview. The greeting is Dear James and Ann. That's being pulled from the client first and last name that you put in earlier. This letter will be modified based on what you've allowed your client to edit or not. So remember, we actually allowed our client to upload a photo and edit the message. And so this letter is a smart letter, and so it reflects both of that information. If you don't allow your client to upload a personal photo, maybe you did it for them. Maybe you took a picture of them on the outside of the house with the for sale sign, and you've uploaded that. Then this letter will be modified accordingly, and it will remove this particular paragraph. Okay, so it's a smart letter. And you can add in your signature line. We do it automatically for you, but if you want to modify it, you can. Okay, just like on that text editor before. Now look, it appears as though it's going to come from Kim and go to her client. What happens when you click Save and Continue is we are emailing it from our email server. So I want you to pick up the phone and call your customer. Let them know you just sent this to them, just in case it gets into that spam filter, okay, because it came from our server. It is a different send function than Announce My Listing. With Announce My Listing, you actually are the one sending out the email to your seller, if you recall, okay? This is an older version of our send function, okay? So pick up the phone and call your client. Now, the preview letter that comes over to them is exactly as you see it here. It will have a link to our homeowner interface, which is identical to the one I trained you guys on for Announce My Listing, okay? They can preview their announcement. They can share it on their email site, on their social media sites, and they can also email themselves the banner and hyperlink for them to forward it out through email to all their contacts. It's a personal private system. Now, what happens in the background, when your client clicks on that homeowner interface, we send you a quick little email, let you know that they've accessed their announcement and they're in that client interface right now. When they publish their announcement, in other words, they send it to their email inbox for distribution, we're going to shoot you another quick little email letting you know that your client did that, okay? Now, I'm going to save and exit out of here since this is a demo account, okay? And I want to demonstrate for you live how to create a time change notice for this weekend, okay? So if you're taking notes and you need my help with this, I'll be happy to create it for you, or you can try to do it yourself, okay? But let me show it to you as I create one from scratch, okay? So I popped into that Create Announcement Wizard, and I'm going to call this one Spring Time Change 2012, okay? And I'm going to use our custom banner, and I'm going to do Be Sure to Spring Forward, okay? And I like this one because it's a little bit more colorful, so I'm going to use that one as my example. It's automatically defaulted for a full banner. And instead of putting in a client's first and last name, because there is no client involved, I'm just going to say Time Change Notice 2012, Spring 2012, okay? Now what I really want it to say is this Sunday night, March 11th at 2 a.m., okay? I'm going to use that one instead, okay? Now when I save it, I like to preview it so I know what it's looking like. Okay, there you've got it starting to build. Now there is no address, so I'm going to leave that blank. And in the client comment section, I'm always going to use that client comment section. What I've actually done is I went into a Word document and I actually looked up on the internet time change, okay? And I found this website called webexhibits.org, which I thought was kind of cool. And they've got some really interesting anecdotes and history about time change. And it was just a really neat little nice website. So what I did is I took a little snippet of what they wrote, and I did a ... and hyperlinked it to that webexhibits.org, okay? And then I formatted a little personal message here and a little greeting. And then you can do this however you want. I'm going to put Kim's name there. I like to do this on a Word document when I am pulling information from another website. I want to put it onto a Word document first so I can strip out all the code that comes from their website. I want just the text, okay? And I don't want to write too much here because if I write too much, people don't like to read. They like to watch and listen more. So, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me go back and paste it back in. I just want to copy it. Okay, so I'm going to copy that since I've already formatted it right there. And I'm just going to pop this in to my client comment section. Okay, and it takes all the formatting along with it. Now you can simply type here and format if you'd like. Again, the reason why I did it this way was because I actually pulled something off of another website and I didn't want the code to come along with it, so I put it into a Word document first and then formatted it. Okay? So now there is no client involved, so this really is not relevant. It doesn't really matter what is pushed here. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now I didn't particularly put anything in our member comments section. I could have just wrote the personal message and then put the snippet of the website and the link to the website in this section, in which case there'd be a divided line between the two areas. I just didn't happen to choose to do it on this particular announcement. Let's preview that and see what it looks like now. Okay, so be sure to spring forward. Here's a little quick reminder to be able to be sure to set your clocks forward an hour. Came across this fun website I want to share with you that has all the fun history and anecdotes about daylight saving. Please pass this along to your contacts. That's the key, okay? Please pass this along to your contacts. And I put a little thing about it right in here. There's that live link. Happy spring, your friend and realtor, Kim. Okay, now this doesn't have a lot of graphics in it. When I get in my Beyond the Basics class, I can show you how to, embed a video and add a JPEG image and add Google Maps and do all those cool things. But I know that most of you are probably going to use it as a text editor, okay, just for text. And then when I come in here, I'm going to use one of the pictures that I have, okay? And there is no client involved, so I'm not going to reserve a picture for them. And I'm going to browse and upload a picture. Now I happen to have it, I think I have it on my desktop. And let's see exactly where I have it. I just popped it on there a few minutes ago, right before this call. Wait for these to populate in, and there it is. I grabbed that daylight savings time image, and I'll tell you, a great site for free images is Microsoft Clip Art. Okay, if you're taking notes, you go to Microsoft Office Clip Art. Okay, this is a great location. You're going to see some images that are cartoons, and then you'll see some other images which are really amazing photos that you can grab and save onto your desktop. And they've really got some beautiful images. I use them a lot, okay? So on this, be sure to spring forward. You're going to see here in just a minute that this image that I just uploaded was from there, okay? So let's go ahead and upload that and now preview it. So you've got that nice clock image. Now, if you want to put in some spring flowers, those kinds of things, you're going to find that on that Microsoft Clip Art. There's some beautiful images if you want to do more of a spring type of announcement versus a time change notice. So there are a couple different ways you can go about this. I just happen to do one more of a standard way. So once you get your photos uploaded, I'm just going to put in the one. Otherwise, if I added in more, remember there'd be those little toggles. I can move them around. If I had more than one image, then I would put it on a slideshow. There is no virtual tour link. We've already previewed it. We know what it looks like. We're going to go ahead and get ready to send this. Now, who's going to be emailing out this announcement? Only me. Okay? So, as soon as I click Save and Continue, Kim is going to be sent, be sure to spring forward. It's going to look just like that going to her email inbox. Now, we're about a week away from changing this image to not just the banner and hyperlink, but actually to an image that will take everything you see here just below Kim's picture and send it to her in that format, just like you see here, so she can forward that out through email. Now, it will include a hyperlink, and the image will be a hyperlink so that someone could see the full announcement. See, these announcements will extend down and down and down as long as you want. This new email program is going to take an image just cropped about there, so it's a little bit of a teaser, and then you're going to have a more content-rich email to forward out through your email system, okay? Now, if Kim wanted to preview this announcement and share it on her social media sites, she would just have that announcement on her screen and click on the share buttons. It's going to pull this banner, the image, and the first little snippet of what she wrote and go onto her Facebook wall or newsfeed, or if she wants to share it on her business page or on a group or in a private message. Okay? Let me pause here and see what questions you guys have. Type me a few messages back. I know I just did a very quick demonstration of how to create this announcement. I want to brainstorm together and see what ideas you guys have for other kinds of creative announcements you could do. But I wanted to see if you have any questions with this basic Create Announcement Wizard. I'm going to pause here for some response. Well, that was a good, one person just commented, this seems really easy. There's a lot of different creative ways that we could use this. So, you know, she's kind of curious as to when we can start brainstorming some ideas. Susan just said, when is the Beyond the Basics class? I'm going to do the Beyond the Basics class tomorrow, Susan, and we're going to get into that text editor and show you how to add more content-rich images in this area, okay? So it'll be tomorrow, and I don't remember exactly the time. Maybe I'll look it up for you guys real fast. Let's see. It's tomorrow at noon my time, which is 3 o'clock yours, okay? Leslie, I know you've been coming on to some of my classes. What do you think about this so far? Does it seem pretty easy? Have you had a chance to get in there and play around with it yet? So let's get in there and kind of brainstorm some ideas, okay? I want to hear from you guys. You know, you're going to see some announcements that the corporate office is going to create for you. And there'll be a variety of different topics. But really, I think the power of this Create from Scratch program is an opportunity for you to really step outside the box and think creatively about how you could use this in your business in multiple ways so that when you're sharing things through social media, that your brand is always coming out across with it, okay? Susan just asked, is there a hard copy of today's lesson? There's not going to be a hard copy, but it'll be a recorded, this is recorded, Susan. Okay, so when you think of hard copy, are you thinking of like a manual or some kind of a written step-by-step instruction? Stacy, Susan, is that what you were thinking of? We're recording this video so you can watch it back. And then just so you know, every Wednesday, I hold a basic orientation to AnnounceMyMove. So you can get with me live every Wednesday and we'll create an announcement together, okay? Now what's going to happen is Susan is asking, how do I access today's video later when I'm having a brain fart? Susan, what you're going to do is when you come out, I'm just going to go ahead and save and exit out of this one. You're going to find the orientation videos right here in this little green section. So right now I have the first one, which was just me talking about the fact that we're launching the program and that we're coming out to do some classes with you guys live. I have 2 videos that need to be populated on here. One, which is the orientation for Announce My News, and the second one, the Announce My Listing orientation that I did yesterday. So we'll be including those videos, including this one. Will all be located right here for you. Okay, so give us a couple of days. We'll get them populated in there for you. And by this weekend, you should have them there. Okay, so today's Wednesday. So by Friday, Saturday. Okay? So it'll be right there in that area. I want you to get in there and think creatively. What are the different ways you could use this in your business? If you're taking some notes, here are some ideas for you that I've seen agents do. I have definitely seen lots of creative ways to do moving announcements where an agent has taken a video of their seller, maybe buyer, that first-time home buyer, with a video of them with the keys in their hand, walking through their door for the first time after closing, and then getting a customer testimonial from that. And I've seen them put announcements together that are both for the buyer to share with their friends, but also for that agent to share with their contacts, basically telling a success story and having their client give them a testimonial, okay? I've seen agents do community event announcements where maybe there's something happening in your community for maybe Easter. Maybe a great idea would be to do like a springtime announcement of all the fun activities for families around the spring and Easter season. Okay, so maybe you can kind of think about being that community reporter and adding a little snippet of here are the top 5 things our community is doing for this particular time of year, and add a little hyperlink next to each one so people can click over to it and check it out. And those are the kinds of announcements that go viral. It's not always the listing announcements or the open house or the transaction-based announcements that go viral. It's the fun community events, things that are happening at your church, happy St. Patrick's Day announcement. Maybe that's a good one for you guys to do. Think about St. Patrick's Day that's coming up, and maybe do an announcement about that. Now, your corporate office may be creating some for everybody, and then you know that you don't have to use those corporate ones. You can come in here and create your own version so that you stand out amongst the other agents who are using that program, okay? I've had agents use it for, I've got an agent out in Dana Point who, she had a State Farm agent that she works with. Okay, State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. This was a mover and shaker in his community. His name is Ted Bowersox, and Jill McGovern's the agent in Dana Point, California, and she featured this State Farm agent and talked a little bit about him and why she recommends him. And where the pictures were going, instead of saying spring forward, she says, I forgot exactly what it was, but, have you heard the news? Here's Ted Bowersox's picture. And, I highly recommend this guy for insurance. Wrote a little personal message to all her contacts about this guy, and added a little hyperlink to his website. She not only sent this out to her contacts, but she sent it out to Ted Bowersox as well. What do you think he did with that? You're right, Rob. He sent it out to every one of his contacts through email and social media, and every person who saw it got introduced to Jill. Okay? So if you're with maybe you're involved with other businesses in the community, maybe you're with a business networking group, think about how you could feature other people's businesses and then tap into their sphere to share this announcement out through them. Maybe you've interviewed your a local restaurant that just opened, and you do a quick little interview with that restaurant owner about what's so interesting and special about this new restaurant, and you create an announcement about this new place. Okay, share that out through your network. That kind of stuff goes viral. Share it with that storefront owner or that restaurant owner, and they'll share it out with everyone they know too. Every person who sees it gets introduced to you. That's the key. So when you think about Facebook, for those of you who are on my call, on my class the other day, okay, hang on one second. I'm going to pop out of that. And, think about when things are shared on social media, where are they driving traffic back to? This Apple iPad with Retina display, Pam, this agent, is basically driving traffic to news.cnet.com. If she had taken this article, popped it into an announcement, and shared some of the top listings perhaps that she's working on, and then she forwarded it out through that way, she's not driving traffic back to the news.cnet.com. She's driving traffic back to an announcement that has her branding on it. That's what Kim was talking about when we were in that classroom a couple weeks ago. Okay? So be thinking about how you're sharing information on social media and how you can very quickly use our tool so that when people want to share this information, when they remove you as a source, this is a link that's coming back to a site that's branding with your information on it. You guys following me? So that's what I'm going to encourage you to do, is to think about some creative, fun ways that you can use your AnnounceMyMove Create from Scratch program, and I promise you, you will get fast and efficient with this, and you'll be using it for a variety of different things. You might even have, another person said to me, you know, Janelle, I created this moving announcement for my customer when they moved, and they came back to me a couple months later, 4 or 5 months later, and said, you know that flyer thingy you created for us? They were referring to that moving announcement, right? They said, you know, we just finished doing a remodel of our house, and we want to do a housewarming invitation and invite people to come over and have a barbecue, in a couple weeks. Could you put that together for us? And of course she said yes. And, because her information, my client's information was over here on the right-hand side. Every single person not only got the moving announcement, but then they saw the housewarming announcement that she created for them and thought, wow, this is an agent that really goes above and beyond this just a transaction. They stay connected with their past clients. Obviously, my friends and family member, use them. Maybe this is someone that I should be looking at for my real estate needs as well. Okay, that's where the word of mouth advertising really comes in, is when you stay connected with your past clients and prospects, have your buyers and sellers share listing announcements and moving announcements through their network, and every person who sees it gets introduced to you. Now, every announcement has a report. So if I come over here and I view my reports, you will see every announcement that's been created. Okay, Kim's just getting started here too, just like you guys are. You'll see how many times that announcement is viewed, if someone sent you an email from it or visited your website. Okay, and all of your announcements will be right there. Now, you'll also see these are your listing announcements, and down below are your custom designed announcements that you've created from scratch, and then your corporate announcements, any announcements that were created for you from your marketing team at corporate. Now, we could take a quick little peek if you guys are curious. I just noticed there's a homestead exemption. That wasn't one I created. I created this one for Kim just now. Should we take a peek and see what she's been working on? Are you guys curious? I know I am. Let's take a look and see what she's doing here. Don't forget homestead. So she's just getting started. Homestead exemption, don't forget to file. So if I recall, is it April 1st is the homestead exemption in Florida? Is that correct, Leslie? You just said yes. Is that right? Is it April 1st? I know there's a deadline coming up. Yeah, she said I think so. Maybe this is a really good one for you guys to do and create from scratch. I'm going to encourage your marketing team at corporate to do one for everybody, but I think Kim and I know Leslie have already started doing their homestead ones. Maybe you guys want to hop on too and create one for your contacts so they know what that homestead's all about, so they don't miss that opportunity. Okay? And these pictures can be any pictures. They can be pictures of some of the houses you guys have got for sale right now that are listed or listed with your company, or it can just be some fun other pictures that you find on a free site like Microsoft Clip Art. Susan asked a quick question. How do you link this to your contact list? Great question, Susan. Okay, so let's go back through that again, okay? Let me save and exit and go back into that springtime change announcement. When you get ready to send this announcement, it asks you, who's going to be emailing out this announcement? You select only me. Now, as soon as you click save and continue, we're going to email you that announcement. Remember, we talked about that. It's either going to be today, it's in the form of a banner and a hyperlink, and the next week or so, it's going to be the full image of the announcement. It's going to be emailed to you. You are then going to forward it using your email system, whatever contact management system you're using. So, Susan, how do you communicate with your contacts now? Are you using Outlook, Act, Top Producer? What kind of contact management system do you use? We'll wait for a minute for her to respond. Because what you're going to do is you're going to choose Outlook. So when you receive that via email, you're just going to simply forward it. Okay? And you can change the subject line so it doesn't look like it's being forwarded. Okay? And you can add whatever verbiage you want to in the body of the email with the image of the announcement. And then select whoever you want to send it to and send it off. You control the email distribution. Okay? Whenever you have a third-party site like ours or a virtual tour company or other marketing tools you have, whenever you upload a list of email addresses onto their site, they're then blasting it out for you. Many times those kinds of marketing pieces get blocked because they're coming from a server that people don't recognize. We want you to use your contact management system because your contacts are used to receiving emails from you. It's less likely to get into their spam filter or have images blocked because you are considered a safe sender. You're already on their white list. You've already had communication with them. Does that make sense, guys? Why we do it that way? We do take a different approach. We think it's the right way to do it. What other questions do you guys have for me? Jerry, you've been a little quiet. Do you have any questions for me? Stacy, what about you? No questions. What I want you to do is get in there and play around with it, okay? When you create your first announcement, will you do me a favor? Will you email it to me? I want to see it. I want to see the kind of announcements you're doing. And I want you to share them on our Facebook group. Are you guys all a part of our Facebook group that we set up for CVV Social Superstars? If you're not on it yet, Leslie's on it, okay? I want you to come and look at it. It's CBV Social Superstars. We've got 54 people already started with the group. The only people who are allowed to participate in this group are those who work at Coldwell Banker Vanguard Realty. Okay, this is a closed group by invitation only. Okay, and once you're on the group, you can suggest other people who should be added. And then so I've got a Patty Parker. I'll just make sure that she's going to check her out. Make sure that she's a part of Coldwell Banker Vanguard Realty. And she's a friend of Kim, so I'm guessing she is. Does anybody know her? Can you tell me if she's a part of Coldwell Banker Vanguard Realty? Miss Patty Parker, she doesn't have Coldwell Banker listed. So I'm going to assume she is because she's got Pete Dalton and Tina and so forth, and every single person here I recognize. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to go ahead and let her be a part of that group. Okay? And so this is a way for us to have a great little location where we can all communicate, share some, I'm going to go ahead and add her. Susan said yes, she's a part of it. And so this is a nice little safe place for us to share successes, okay? Share what we're doing socially to increase our business. When you have new technology you come across or new announcements that you do or some fun classes that you're going to or things that I'm actually sharing that I want you to participate in, this is a way for us to have this nice little group where we can, in this nice safe environment, help each other grow our business socially, okay? So I hope you'll participate here with the CVV Social Superstars, okay? We've had some great response so far, had a lot of dialogue back and forth. I want you to share your first custom announcements here, if you feel comfortable, or at least email me and let me take a look at it so I can help you get the most out of this tool, okay? All right, for those of you who are on the call, my contact information is going to come over right after this call. Pick up the phone, call me, email me. Let me know what's going on with you and how I can help you. I'm here to walk you through and help you create your first announcement. All right, if there's no other questions, I'm all done. So I'm going to stay on and see if there's any additional questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for your time today. I'm really looking forward to working with you. All right, you guys, listen, have a fantastic afternoon, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, or I'll talk to you one-on-one when we're creating announcements together, okay? Bye.